Voting is underway in the second round of France's parliamentary election, with the far right looking to make major gains. French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal cast his vote on Sunday in the final round of election. Around 49.3 million eligible voters will cast their ballots in the decisive runoff election. There are 577 seats in the National Assembly. For an absolute majority, a party needs at least 289 seats. The focus of this election is whether Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally party can secure an absolute majority in France's legislature or not. Le Pen's party came out on top in the first round of polling on 30th June. Meanwhile, left-wing and centrist parties have joined forces in a bid to prevent the National Rally from securing an absolute majority. Recent polls suggest that Le Pen's party may fall short of an absolute majority while still being the largest party. If a hung parliament occurs, it would significantly erode President Emmanuel Macron's influence and lead to an extended period of political deadlock and policy stagnation in the Eurozone's second largest economy. The residents of New Caledonia queued up to cast their votes on Sunday as polls opened in the French overseas territories. New Caledonia voters hoped that the election would bring peace to the territory. Long queues snaked around a polling station in New Caledonia's capital, with many voters saying that they hope for successful negotiations between pro- and anti-independence camps and a return to stability. A contested reform to the electoral system, which would have widened the number of French residents able to vote, since suspended, and deep inequality prompted a fortnight of rioting in the month of May, which led the central government to impose a state of emergency. 9 people were killed in the violence, including 2 police personnel. And Ross Cullen joins me from Paris for more. Ross, how's the polling coming along? Give us a sense of what's happening where you are now. Have you had a chance to talk to voters about what they would be thinking as they cast their vote?
Well, I can tell you that the turnout is above 26% the first 4 hours of the voting, from 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. at local time, and we have now had the first of the 2 projected turnouts we're expected to get, usually at 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. local time on election day. And the number of people who voted is increased up on last Sunday's, and in fact, you have to go back to 1981 to the legislative elections then to find such a turnout at this kind of level, 26.6% in the first 4 hours of the day. So it does seem that it's not just the media underlining how important this election is, it's the French people themselves turning out in significant numbers to cast their votes.
Now, this is an election that could well result in France's first far-right government since World War II, or it could just end in political deadlock and throw up a hung parliament. So what's really at stake here for France?
Well, the future of the next 5 years, that's the length of Parliament, and will the next 5 years see a far-right majority government, a far-right minority government, potentially a coalition involving the left-wing, maybe a left-wing Prime Minister. All of these ramifications feed into the idea of a possible cohabitation, a power-sharing agreement between the President and the Prime Minister. We haven't seen that since 1997, when the Conservative President Jacques Chirac lost the legislative election to the left-wing socialists, and they had to share power between them for the next 5 years. So there could be that cohabitation between the centrist president and potentially a far-right prime minister. There are lots of other ramifications as well about a possible technocratic government, maybe the government continuing as it is for a couple of months until the autumn, because we've got the Olympics coming up, there's the traditional summer recess as well. So lots of things at stake for the French as they go to the polls today.
Ross, thank you. Appreciate it. Ross Cullen there in Paris.